everyone. I'm here to share a chair practice with you today, but I also wanted to share a little bit of wisdom from the Yoga Sutras. And one of the sutras I feel addresses something that many of us are probably experiencing right now. So the Yoga Sutras really do teach us how to work with our mind and the thoughts that we're having. So never more appropriate than right now. And I've shared this in class before, but it's Sutra 233. When disturbed by negative thoughts, opposite or positive ones should be thought of instead. This is Pratipaksha Bhavana. And I'm going to read a little bit of the commentary too. Here Patanjali gives us a very nice clue on how to control the mind and obstruct those thoughts that we don't want to have. The best way, he says, is to invite opposite thoughts. If thoughts of fear are in the mind, we can try to bring in the thought of love. If we can't do that, we can at least go to the people that we do love and in their presence, forget about our fear. So although fear has come to the surface, we can keep it from coming out or staying long by changing our environment. Sometimes we see this work between married partners. When sparks begin to fly between them, if their little one crawls up asking for attention, what will happen? Those of us who have had this experience will immediately know. The sparks instantly cool down. Either the mother or father picks up and hugs the child. That's because they both love the baby. In the form of a child, love comes in, and the fear is immediately banished. We can create a positive atmosphere by looking at a holy picture, by reading an inspiring book, by meeting with a special person, or simply by leaving the disturbing environment. This is a very practical point. It is very difficult to control negative thoughts while staying in a negative environment, unless we have extraordinary strength. The easiest way is to change the environment. So we can't create a positive life with a negative mind. And doing whatever we can, using the tools of yoga, meditation, kriya, we shift. We shift away from old patterns or negative ways of being, and hopefully evolve into a higher vibrational state. And remember, our thoughts are energy. So we are born with free will choice, and we can choose to stay in a negative environment or to change it. So this really helped me, and I hope it helps you as well. So we'll begin seated in a chair. If you're at home, remember a chair without arms is always best, allowing us to move more freely. So our feet are firmly planted. Our seat, whatever it's resting on, is firmly planted. We drop the chin slightly to help quiet all the mind stuff. And we allow our attention to shift away from the mind and come down into our body where we experience our breath. Begin by observing our breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, and the soft, relaxed belly that allows us to really create a shift. Stepping on the brake pedal to slow down. To be aware of where we're at and what kind of thoughts we are having around the situation. Perhaps we think of a positive word or phrase that can help support us if we're challenged by any thoughts of fear, uncertainty, vulnerability. Just one word is all we need for support. Something we can focus our energy on. Something uplifting. Two more breaths, deep and full. And then releasing the hands alongside. And let's move one shoulder at a time to begin warming. So we're going to take our right shoulder up and around, release it down. Left shoulder comes up and back and down. Forward, up, back, down. Alternating sides. We'll just do one more on each side. Inhaling, fingertips out, and then drawing hands to heart center. We're going to interlace the knuckles and just make some figure eights. So we're keeping our hands together, moving the knuckles, feeling into all the sides of our wrists, and let's reverse. And then release. And let's just take our hands, I'm going to come to the edge of the chair, and move in figure eights here. Little bit of brain work. Can we reverse our figure eights? And then we'll release the hands down. Sitting up tall, we're just going to come side to side. Maybe we tap opposite shoulder as we gently move through a flowing twist. Making our way to center. Deep breath. We're going to practice a Kriya that is called the Kriya to cleanse and activate. If we've been a little bit stagnant, this can help us get things moving. Okay, it's especially useful for moving lymph as we draw our elbows in to hit lymph glands on either side of the body. So we begin with these mitten-like hands. And the creative cleanse and activate, I think we want our fingers together, yes, is inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And we want our breath to be full, and we're actually hitting our elbows down, extending out through the fingertips as much as we can. Exhaling through the mouth, so it'll look like this. Full, deep breath. Feeling the warmth and energy circulating through our upper body. We'll move to the back of the chair. I'm going to sit sideways so you can see this a little bit better. And we're going to practice a seated spinal balance. So taking a breath in, right hand and left leg extend. And then we release this down. Inhaling right leg and left arm and releasing down. Deep breath in. Relaxing out. Slow and controlled. We're moving with muscle versus momentum. So very slow, very controlled. One more each side. And looming lotus kriya. Hands come to the heart. As we take a breath in, let this be symbolic of your own journey through darkness, through challenging times, through murky waters. As we inhale, we move through from the muddy depths to rise above the surface and shine brightly. And we sense that we're just washing away all those negative thoughts. Inhaling, shifting into more positive ones is what Paripraksha Bhavana is all about, because we have free will choice. We focus on what we want to see versus what we don't want to see. Focus on what we want to feel versus what we don't want to feel. And then hands back to the heart. Releasing down, and we're going to practice a little chair. So we're seated on a chair now. We're going to practice lifting and lowering with control. So I better turn sideways. We practice this quite a bit in our classes because once we start to lose the deep core muscles, we start to plop and we stop using the core muscles that we do have. So we're going to focus on, you might need to use the edges of the chair, but we're going to hinge forward Press into the feet. Inhaling, hands could come to the heart or to the sky. Exhaling, we can hover above the chair or practice sitting softly. Inhaling, opening up, inviting space, controlling our descent, pressing into the feet evenly as we lift. We've got 3 more, just like that. Standing tall, sitting mindfully. Next time we rise up, we're going to stay all the way up and release, turning to face our chair. Taking a breath in, circle sweeping to the sky. Exhaling as we swan dive down. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Starting with a little bend in our knees. You might even let your belly rest on your thighs. Long through our back. We're pressing into our wide open hands. And let's flow a little bit. Inhaling forward to our plank pose. Exhaling back into down dog. Inhaling forward. Exhaling. Downward facing dog. And one more time, inhaling forward. And exhaling back into downward facing dog. Walking to the top of the mat. Setting our feet, circle sweeping or walking up, extended mountain, into mountain pose. Coming back to our positive word. What word did we connect to at the beginning of our practice? What was the word that supports us in creating a more positive environment? Come back to it. Remembering our thoughts are energy. As we inhale, we'll press prayer hands to the sky. As we exhale, we're moving into a twist. Inhaling up to the sky, exhaling into a twist. And you could let your arms flow any way that they want to, something that feels natural. One more time to the right, and one more time to the left. And mountain pose. As we inhale, we'll open arms parallel to the floor. As we exhale, we're going to yin-yang the arms. Left arm under, right arm over. At center, open like a flower, blossom open. And exhale, right arm under, left arm over. Breathing in. Alternating sides. One more time in each direction. Releasing. So before we move into holding postures, let's get a little cat-cow in. Rising up, sweeping down, hands come to the chair. We're stacking shoulders and wrists, aligning our bodies, ankles under hips. Inhaling as we arch, belly towards the mat. And then exhaling as we arch in the opposite direction, Pressing through our back ribs. Let's stay with our own breath. Inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. Something that feels natural and nourishing. Knowing you're in the right place in your own practice. This is how we empower ourselves. Next time we come into cat, we'll release to neutral. And we might want the back of the chair to support us here as we open up to the long edge for flowing sun. We'll inhale up, exhale into a plie. Breathe in and exhale plie. If we're comfortable, the hand on the chair might float off. Sinking down to warm and open our hips. One more flowing. And as we exhale, hands come down. And let's actually start our practice holding sun pose. So with our feet set, knees bent, we might want to have both hands on our thighs, more like a horse stance. So you could stay here, head and heart lift, shoulders are down and back. You could use the support of the chair. And we're adjusting how much work we're giving our body by the bend in our knees. So less work, we come up. More work, we sink down. Lifting the pelvic floor helps to support this pose. So Pada Bandha and Mula Bandha. Pada Bandha at our feet. So lifting and spreading our toes. And then inhaling up. Exhaling as we come into a warrior one stance. Right hand stays on the chair, left hand to the sky. Really pressing into our back foot. Opening our left fingers. Full deep breath. It is an option to take right hand to the sky as well. Swan diving down, holding the back of the chair. Begin to lengthen the front leg. You might come to the seat of the chair. For pyramid pose, we're trying to square our hips up to the front edge of the mat. So we're drawing our right hip crease back, left hip crease forward. Find the depth that is right for you. And breathing into the right hamstring. Next inhale, rising up. Drawing that right foot back a little bit, hands to the back of the chair. So we're going to keep drawing this right foot back under our right hip so our left leg can lift into warrior three. And we can play with where we're holding on the chair. Keeping those core muscles strong. Left toes point straight down. Let's take one more good breath. And then walk to the top. Inhale, arms fly out. Exhale, we're reaching back as if we're holding a beach ball or interlacing to open more across the chest. Deep breaths, really beneficial here. And then we'll go to the other side. So let's step open to the long edge. So sun pose on the opposite side. You don't have to move your chair. Just turn your body. I'm just doing that for the purpose of the camera and your view. So we set our feet. Remember, you can lift your toes to check in with foot lock, engaging the feet to support us. Pelvic floor lifts, sun pose. Remembering to breathe. Remembering you might want a little extra support. We're still opening our hips and strengthening here too. Inhaling up, exhaling, hands to the chair. Warrior one stance. So our right foot is back, our right hand lifts. So as the right foot presses, the right hand reaches. Left hand can stay on the chair or reach up as well. And a focal point can help us to steady, to concentrate, concentrating on what we do want. Shifting our energy towards the highest and best good. And releasing, hands to the back of the chair, to the seat of the chair. Turning our toes forward, squaring our hips to the front short edge. Inhaling long and exhaling as we find our version of pyramid. Feels so good to open that left leg. And we can adjust what we're feeling by either bending the left knee or pressing more into the left foot. One more. Left foot coming all the way back under the left hip. Hands coming to the chair. I even have to walk back a little more. Warrior three. So being a warrior instead of a worrier through these times. Maybe that's our word, our one word, warrior. Releasing this down, we're going to walk up to the chair and come into cobra or up dog. So we're pressing our feet down, pressing our hands down, lifting the head and heart up. A lovely back bend. And then coming up. And using our chair for our balancing pose. So we're going to be upright and we're going to practice tree pose. Right knee turns out, shoulders are down and back. Right hand comes to the heart, and maybe the left hand. And we check in with where we're at. Remembering more is not better. Whatever is better for you is better. Option to lift the right foot onto the left calf. Option to open this up, to lift up towards the light. And to release. And you can turn the other way. You don't have to move your chair. Left heel comes in. Level waistband. Hands to the heart. And we find a focal point. Really concentrating. One of the practices of yoga is concentration. And it's something we need to practice. Option 2, lift left foot onto right calf. And it's just an option to open the arms. Maybe that hand comes back to the chair. Growing into our own beautiful tree. Because trees don't grow up to look like other trees, right? And releasing this down into mountain pose. And let's take a moment to practice blooming lotus kriya right here. So we take Padma Mudra. Plug the thumbs into the heart. And very symbolic of shifting away from negative to positive, from darkness to light. Take a breath in. Sense your own evolution. We do not want to stay the same. So we do our practice, and our practice helps us to create that change. Deep breath in. One more time. Full inhalation. Full exhalation. And mountain pose for 3 to 5 breaths. Coming back together, we'll join seated in our chair. And prepare for a lovely twist. Inhaling as we circle sweep up to the sky. As we exhale, the hands come down. We're walking our knees to the right, sitting up tall, and turning towards the back of the chair. Wringing out all negativity. Wringing out any victim mentality. Now is not the time to be stuck in victim mentality. Now is the time to be a forklift, to uplift, and to support. Shoulders are down. We're finding where our rotation stops. And releasing through center. Preparing for a forward fold. Let's take big breath in, and as we exhale, swan dive down, dropping the weight of the head and the shoulders, maybe hugging our thighs, releasing tension. Going inward, because this is the only place that we can change. And then we'll inhale, circle sweep up, and release back down into seated mountain pose. preparing for Shavasana. So some of us like to come to the floor. Please come onto the floor if that's where you'd like to be right now. We've got about 5 minutes of final relaxation. Remembering that there's nothing to do in Shavasana or final relaxation. Nothing to do, only to be. Be with all that is, holding yourself with love and compassion. Relaxing all the lines in the face. Relaxing the jaw by feeling space between your 2 rows of teeth. Feeling the weight of our arms, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. And all of the muscles in our back are relaxed as we rest on our skeleton. Bathe in love. Returning to a seated position, moving in slow motion, no sense of urgency, just loving, mindful movement. And we sit tall. I know you're all out there with me, so let's take a big community breath in. Exhaling as we bring prayer hands to the heart. And may we all live as our highest and very best selves. Namaste.